All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. My name is Olivia Mathis. I am a program advisor here with the Division of Pre-College and Undergraduate Programs at Brown University. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evenings or days to join us today. Uh, very excited to have you and to present you with this information. I just briefly want to cover kind of an agenda for the session this evening. We'll provide you with a general overview of Brown's pre-college programs. Then I will introduce our panelist who's going to share with you what's new for 2026, provide a high-level overview of our STEM for Rising 9th and 10th grader program, and explain the exciting student life activities and workshops which will be available and on campus. After that, we are going to conclude with a question and answer section this evening. This presentation will be recorded and will be available both on our YouTube channel, and links will be provided via email to anyone who's registered this evening. We anticipate that this will probably take about 45 minutes. Want to be mindful of time for everyone during their evening. There is closed captioning available if necessary. You can activate that by clicking the CC button below. I wanted to also note that we will have some QR codes available on some of the slides that you can scan. Those will take you to the relevant pages on our website. So, as I mentioned, we will be offering a question and answer later this evening after the presentation, but please ask us questions. You can submit these questions anytime during the presentation using the Q&A chat function at the bottom of your screen. I have some of my fellow program advisors with us this evening to assist in answering your questions throughout the presentation, and we'll also, again, end with live question answering. This is a friendly reminder that all of tonight's information can be found on our website as well, precollege.brown.edu. So each year, we welcome more than 6,000 high school students from over 70 different countries, including all of the 50 United States, who choose to spend part of their summer with us, whether that's here in Providence, at locations around the world, or online. These students explore over 300 courses that are intentionally crafted to reflect the undergraduate open curriculum here at Brown. The structure of Brown's pre-college programs reflects the freedoms and responsibilities that are critically important parts of the college experience. As a result, you'll balance the challenge of college-level academics with enriching social activities that are available whether you choose to study in person or online. Regardless of which program you're interested in, the first step in your Brown pre-college experience for any of them is completing your application. Our application is designed specifically to mirror the common application used by many colleges and universities. Our application will help prepare you for the college application process, including adding transcripts and thinking through crafting an essay based on a unique writing prompt. Our summer 2026 application opens tomorrow on Wednesday, January 14th, and the deadline for submitting an application is Friday, May 8th. You can find our application checklist, which includes the essay prompts, grade requirements, and everything else you'll need to provide a complete application by clicking on the Apply button at the top of our website. You'll also find a video tutorial with step-by-step instructions on how to complete the application. Admission decisions are made on a rolling basis. So decisions will be sent to students as they become available, beginning on Tuesday, January 20th. In most cases, once you've submitted a complete application, admission decisions are made within 15 business days. In order to participate, students must enroll in a course after being admitted. Being admitted does not mean a student is enrolled into any particular course or academic program. So there is a step after being admitted. Now that we've provided a general overview of our application process and timeline, let's transition to learning more about STEM for rising 9th and 10th graders, also referred to as STEM 9-10. To share more about this program, I'm excited to introduce Abbey Aevazelis, who is the Director of STEM Programs. Hi, Abbey.
Hi, Olivia, and hi, everybody who's joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Abbey Aevazelis. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Associate Director of Pre-College Programs and the Director of STEM Programs. And I am absolutely thrilled to be able to share a little bit more about our wonderful STEM 910 program with you tonight. So it gives me great pleasure actually to talk about this tremendous program. STEM 910, so it is designed for our youngest audience. They are rising 9th and 10th graders who range in age between 13 and 15 years old. Really, it's students who are bracketing the first year of high school. Typically, the program is distributed between students who've either just finished 8th grade and will start high school soon, or the rest have just finished their first year of high school. In this past year, and actually it's been a trend we've noticed over the past couple of years, we have about 70% rising 9th graders, although most of our students on the typical bell curve are 14. We do have some 13 and some 15-year-olds in the program. So if you are a rising 10th grader, I'm going to suggest that you explore our website, listen to the specifics tonight, and then consider which program is a better fit for you. Is it Summer at Brown, participating in STEM courses, or is it STEM for rising 9th and 10th graders? If you are a student who's very used to being independent, then I encourage you to look closely at the STEM offerings that are held in the Summer at Brown program. In STEM for rising 9th and 10th graders, there's about 250 students each year in the program, and each classroom is capped at around 18 students. The program is offered only as a residential experience on campus and does not include either an online or a commuter option. Students will live in the Brown residence halls on single gender floors. Students are randomly assigned a roommate based on age and gender identity, and roommate requests are not accepted. There is an accommodations process that certainly our program advisors can talk to you about once you get to that point, if you have any personal accommodations that you would need to let us know about. STEM for rising 9th and 10th graders provides a wonderful opportunity for students to learn from and share experiences with one another as they make new friends and bond over their shared love of the STEM subjects, some of my personal favorites. And I'm excited to say I'll get to meet many of you and your families on check-in day, either on Sunday, July 12th during our parent and student orientation, or I may have a chance to see you on July 24th during our closing event, which will include the presentation of learnings by your talented students. Now, STEM 910 has a few key differences from our Summer Brown program. So as you're exploring the website and you look at both programs, these are the key things to note about STEM 910. There's additional structure and support built in. So during the first day or so, the students are introduced to the campus along with their resident advisor, or RA, so they can learn how to navigate the space and get from their residence hall to the academic, dining, and recreational areas. RAs are undergraduate students who are supported through our layers of professional staff within our student life team, and RAs go through specific training to support our STEM 910 population. Students are also provided opportunities to get to know the students who live around them and their RA well through community building activities that occur daily, along with a nightly floor meeting. Each RA works closely with the small cohort of students in their group, and during those floor meetings, students can learn strategies for being successful in a living and learning environment and continue to enhance and strengthen their newfound friendships. As students live on campus with us for the full 2 weeks, there's a lot of time to get to know the others within the program. The weekend between the program is full of robust social activities. While students do have an option to leave for the weekend if there's a special circumstance and if they receive prior permission from the STEM team, we encourage students to stay and fully participate in all of the planned activities. So what can a student expect on a typical day in the STEM 910 program? Well, you did hear me say that there's additional structure and support in this program. And just to let you know, the first Sunday and Monday, students are escorted around campus. They're supported fully by their RAs. But as of Tuesday morning, they're able to self-navigate to where they need to go. And broadly speaking, students can take one class over the 2 weeks during STEM 910. Classes run Monday through Friday for 3 hours each morning, and students participate in the morning academic course sessions and then 4 extended afternoon sessions over the 2 weeks. The afternoon sessions may occur on a Tuesday, Thursday rotation or a Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday rotation. So depending on which class you sign up for, they may have a different set of afternoon sessions. The afternoon sessions can include field trips or extra laboratory or project work, helping you get prepared for your final presentation of learning. Each course may also have specific prerequisites that are listed in the course catalog. So if the class requires specific prior knowledge, such as Algebra 1, the course description and the prereqs will include details on any experiences that you should have had, and then also on any specific materials that might be required, such as laptops or field attire or lab attire if you're going to be in a lab that's going to require you to have long pants, closed-toed shoes, etc. So please be sure to review these needs when considering courses, and information on what to bring will also be shared upon arrival. I've referenced the presentation of learning a little bit, and what is happening on that day is that the students are going to be sharing the amazing academic project that they have worked on over the 2 weeks. So each course will include a project that students work on during the time that they're in class, and they showcase their learning on that final day. Students should expect to spend about 12 to 15 hours outside of class over the 2 weeks working on their projects, and typically they are group projects. So we've talked a lot about the academics, but what's happening outside of the classroom? So when students are not in class, they have dining, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3 meals a day, free time in the afternoons where they can participate in STEM-related activities. They can join in with some of the Summer at Brown workshops or RA-led sessions that are happening around the space. They can spend time in a study hall-like experience working on their project, or they can enjoy quiet time relaxing with friends on one of the beautiful greens that we have on campus. In the evenings and weekends, students participate in what we affectionately like to call fundatory activities, so fun and mandatory, where they stay together as a cohort and are supervised by members of the student life team. So for example, after dinner, students come together as a cohort and are escorted to a variety of activities hosted by the RAs. They might go in a small group to an escape room or even all go bowling together. The opportunities vary each year. Students experience many fun activities throughout the 2-week session, and each student is provided the opportunity to do any one of our scheduled events. It just might be on a different day than their friends. Hopefully not, because they'll make new friends in their activity groups. Students are not required to bring any spending money to STEM 910, as all course materials and social activities are included in the cost of the program. And details on the residence hall experience, what to bring, doing laundry, a key critical skill for all students. It's all going to be provided to students through our ongoing communications via email, our enrolled student information pages, or in our student portal. So the program is supported not only by the RAs and professional staff like us, the folks who are here talking to you tonight, but also by wonderful area coordinators who help plan, coordinate, and supervise the RAs that interact directly with the students. So you might be wondering what a typical daily schedule might look like for a STEM 910 student. And here you can see breakfast in the morning. Then students are going to be going to their academic courses. They'll have lunch. And then depending on the class that they're taking, depending on the day, they might have free time in that afternoon where they can participate in some of the other activities that are happening. They might have an afternoon class schedule, or they could be scheduled for 1 hour in our collaboration station, which is that study hall space that I referenced. And 1 hour once per week, students are required to go and meet with their instructor as a part of an office hours, and also just to check in and work on their project. And of course, it's usually a lovely air-conditioned space. The students can have access to that collaboration station every afternoon while the programs are in session. You'll see then also there's dinner, supervised evening activities, opportunities to check in for the night, and then lights out. So really students are in the buildings safe overnight. There's a curfew that they can't leave the buildings until the following morning, and then it all starts over again. So going back to the academics for a second, there are many that you're going to be able to look at in our course catalog, and STEM 910 provides a breadth of courses. So while there's lots of courses available, there's going to be 14 available within the program. These are a few that I think our audience will enjoy learning a little bit more about. So, understanding the universe. This course will survey the major themes of astrophysics and cosmology and explore both the established truths and deep mysteries of our universe together. This course is ideal for those who are curious about space and want to explore related topics. A full departure from the first topic, identification and the study of wild-caught nematodes. So scientists utilize model organisms to understand biological processes, often relevant to human disease. Model organisms are easy to maintain and breed in a laboratory setting. In this course, our student scientists will be introduced to the free-living microscopic roundworm C. elegans. As a project-based lab course, you'll identify wild-caught nematodes from the soil using both PCR and DNA sequencing analysis. You'll also be introduced to primary literature, developmental biology, genetics, microscopy, and worm maintenance. Another course that might be of strong interest to our students, Double Tap to Like, Digital Product Design Fundamentals. So if you've ever wondered how your TikTok For You page is designed, design shapes how we interact with the world, from apps to everyday products. In this course, you'll explore user experience, so UX design, with a focus on human-centered design. Through team and individual projects, students will design a digital product to solve real-world problems. By the end, they'll have a strong foundation in design and demonstrate their ability to create impactful solutions. Another lab class, The Real Animal Kingdom, a hands-on survey of invertebrate biodiversity. So while animals like lions, dolphins, and elephants get lots of attention, most animals are typically far smaller and less obvious, but no less fascinating. In this course, you'll spend time exploring the amazing group, phyla, that lack backbones, commonly known as the invertebrates. This is an example of a course that would need both lab attire and field attire because you'll be going out and exploring our local marine environment and doing some collecting of invertebrates to view in the lab. And last but not least, From Molecules to Medicines, an introduction to the drug discovery process. So doctors are not the only ones who save lives in medicine. The researchers behind the development of disease-curing drugs are chemists, biologists, and engineers who work hard to get new medicines to patients in need. In this exploratory course, you'll dive into the process of drug discovery, including how to identify a biological target and the value of clinical trials. With the scientific thinking skills gained in this course, you'll be challenged to design your own innovative medicine. So as I said, there's 14 wonderful courses in the 2026 STEM 910 program, and I could have highlighted any of them. What is most important is for you to read through the full course description to find your top choices. If you're interested in attending in summer 2026, I encourage you to apply as soon as possible. Remember, application opens tomorrow, and then select and enroll in a course that resonates with you. It's good to have flexibility in case your top choice is already full. STEM 910 does fill really quickly, and the program will close when we're at capacity. As I referenced before, I think it's really important to highlight again, if you are a rising 10th grader and you would feel you prefer a more flexible experience, then I would encourage you to consider Summer Brown, which provides you with more freedom to explore on your own. In either case, as you're thinking about a course to choose, if your top choice is full, then you should consider the following. What will you be most excited about studying for 2 weeks? What are you passionate about? How do you feel the information you will learn will help you grow or even change the world? Have fun exploring, and remember, as courses fill up fast, you should be open to trying something new. All in all, the STEM 910 program is a unique and wonderful opportunity for students. One of my favorite things about this program is walking around in the summer and seeing the happy faces and excited voices. Students could be talking about what they're learning in class, having a debate about the latest current event, STEM related or not, or just hanging out talking about books, movies, or other things that are important to them. When students come to this program, they often may be one of just a few at their school who care so deeply or passionately about science, technology, engineering, or math. And here they are, suddenly immersed in this experience with around 250 other students who care as deeply and passionately about similar topics as well. It's really affirming to find people you resonate with and at the same time realize that they may look different than you, come from different backgrounds, or live in another part of the world. Yet you quickly see that there are so many opportunities for shared collaboration and learning from others. To me, that's what sets this program apart as something special.
Thank you so much for sharing, Abby. We are now going to spend a few minutes doing a live question and answer. Before we start, I just want to point out again that you can ask questions by clicking on the Q&A icon on your Zoom toolbar. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can this evening, but if we don't get to yours today, please be sure to review our website, which has a wealth of information, or feel free to reach out to us either over email at precollege@brown.edu or by phone. So let me see if I can grab a couple of these questions that are coming in. Looks like we have a few that are being submitted right now. First question I'm happy to answer is where can students find the list of available STEM 910 courses? Highly recommend taking a look on our website. Tomorrow, as our application opens, our course catalog on our website is also going to be rolled over to reflect summer 2026 course offerings. You can click courses in the toolbar essentially on our website. It will bring you directly to the course catalog and it will be updated tomorrow. You can also utilize filters, which will be available on the left side of the screen in order to filter dates, times, course subjects, and also specifically just to show STEM 910 classes. We'll show all 14 classes rather than having to scroll through the entire course catalog to get there. Let me grab another question. What should a rising 10th grader consider when trying to decide between STEM and summer at Brown Abbey? So if you can kind of outline some of the differences between STEM and summer at Brown, and talk about specifically how that applies to, I would say, both rising 10th graders and whether current 10th graders are eligible as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Olivia. So if you are a current 10th grader, you are not eligible for STEM for rising 9th and 10th graders. So you should absolutely look at summer at Brown. If you are a rising 10th grader, I think you need to think with yourself and your family about what kind of experience you're looking for. So, for example, if you currently are very comfortable, you live in a city, you're very comfortable navigating public transit, getting yourself back and forth around all the time, very independently, then I would think that summer at Brown is a better fit for you than STEM for rising 9th and 10th graders. Families who maybe don't live in that urban environment, or students who are not navigating quite so independently, and or families who may be wanting a little bit more structure and support, then you should certainly consider STEM for rising 9th and 10th graders. And of course, if you're a rising 9th grader, this is your choice. So that's why we have such a diverse group of course offerings, because then you can really take your pick of something you're interested in. The other thing I would say, even around the independence piece, the other piece is academics. So thinking through, if you are a student who likes STEM, but you also really love art or you really love philosophy and you're interested in exploring other topics, Summer at Brown has really a set of curriculum that would be everything from A to Z, anything you would find at Brown in terms of different types of content that might be available. Those types of courses are the types that you'll find within Summer at Brown. So they're broader than the niche that is STEM 910. So that might give you an opportunity to think about and explore maybe another area you're passionate about. In either case, if you successfully complete your course, and what I mean by that is you do all the work, you submit everything, you follow through and do all the expectations, you will receive at the end a certificate of completion for the class. So that's both STEM 910 and Summer Brown. And if it is a 2-week or longer class, you will receive a course performance report. So that's an evaluative report that where your instructor gives some feedback on your performance within the class. So students often like to know what they get at the end of the course. They're non-credit and they're technically non-graded, but you will get the CPR and the certificate of completion, especially for STEM 910 if you successfully complete the class and the program.
That was very comprehensive, Abby. Thank you so much. Looks like I have a question here that I'm happy to answer. It is where can we find program costs? Again, direct you to our website. In the bar up at the top, the red bar, there is an area called costs and aid, or dates and costs. You should be able to find both scholarship information under costs and aid, and then under dates and costs, kind of within that subgroup. That will show you both dates that our programs are going to be offered, as well as the costs associated with each specific program. Another question generally related to that is, will scholarships be available? As I just referenced, yes, we do have some scholarships that are available. Those scholarship details can be found under the cost and aid section of our website. It Another question is about international scholarships. I did want to touch on and make sure that I communicated that those scholarships are available to students who are US citizens, permanent residents, or recipients of DACA. So if you are currently living in the United States and fall under either of those three US affiliate categories and are enrolled in a US high school, you would be eligible for scholarships. We unfortunately do not offer scholarships for international students. So let me grab another question. Is this program available online, Abby?
So there are summer at Brown courses that are available online for students who are interested in considering online options. But STEM for Rising 9th and 10th graders is a specific 2-week program that runs on campus. Students check in on July 12th and the program ends on July 24th.
Uh, are are there options to commute to the campus?
Not in STEM 910. So again, summer at Brown, a little bit more flexibility, a little bit of a different opportunity, 1 week, 2 week, 3 week classes. There will be a webinar coming up, I believe, later in the cycle about summer at Brown. Also, myself and a colleague will be doing a webinar where we cover our research courses that are for 16 plus, students who will be 16 plus in summer at Brown. So there's a little bit more flexibility there, and that would include online or commuter, but not for STEM for Rising 9th and 10th graders. It's a 2-week residential program only.
Great. Thank you for clarifying. Another question, what will students do on the weekend?
So one of the things that I have not yet mentioned is that part of what's included for your students, not only, of course, room and board and the academic experience and all of those wonderful residential activities that we were talking about, but students also get access to our fitness center. So there is a wonderful fitness center, there's a pool, and students can take advantage of the fitness center, certainly in their free time during the week, but also on the weekend. So that's something just to make sure that I have referenced. I think they also had I'm not going to do it justice, but I think it was a dive in where they had students in the pool watching a movie, which I thought was super cool. The students were just hanging out on floats in the pool watching a movie. So that was the Summer at Brown activity. But there are, lots of different types of activities that will happen for students. What's happened over the past couple of years, and of course, it's going to be dependent year over year based on what the schedule looks like. But the past couple of years, students have been able to go to the Revolution, which is the local Major League Soccer team that's hosted at Gillette Stadium, the home of the Patriots. So that's been pretty exciting, especially for students who love soccer, especially thinking about the World Cup this year. May not be able to make it to the stadium just because of the World Cup timing and Gillette being used, but that's been an opportunity over the past couple of years. The other thing is students typically will have one day on the weekend that gives them a lot more free time, a lot more downtime, RA-led activities, and then some time for them to just do their own exploring around campus. And the other day is much more structured. So for example, the past couple of years, we've also been to the Providence Place Mall that has a Dave & Buster's, which is a huge arcade, and then also Level 99, which is many little mini escape rooms. And that's really fun as well. So our team, our student life team, does an amazing job finding creative, engaging, fun opportunities for students to participate in the nights and also on the weekends. And again, activities vary year over year, but that's just an example of some of the things they've done in the past.
Awesome. Thank you. So I am happy to take this next question. I see, how do I confirm my spot in the program if accepted? So, to reference a point that I made earlier this evening, applying and being accepted is only the first step. After applying and being accepted, you will want to accept your admission and then submit a deposit and enroll in a course. So, within your student portal, you would have access to the course catalog where you can enroll in any open course as long as you meet the age and grade level eligibility requirements. So, that is the final step to secure your seat and ensure that you have a space available in one of those STEM 910 classes. Just accepting your admission or being admitted doesn't secure your seat. So you need to make sure that you follow that final step of enrolling in a course to save your seat. If you do enroll in a course and say, actually, this other STEM 910 class sounds more interesting, you can change your enrollment during our open enrollment period. So please, I highly encourage you to secure a seat as early as possible, apply as early as possible. Because as Abby said, STEM 910 is a very popular program and does typically fill quite quickly. And if you have any questions about enrollment or the application process, our program advising team, myself included, are extremely helpful and very, very happy to answer any questions and offer kind of any guidance during any of those areas as needed. So feel free to reach out to us either via email or over the phone. I'll grab another question. Looks like there's one for you here, Abby. What is the level of supervision of students during free time?
Thanks, Olivia. So during the program, as I referenced, really that first Sunday through Monday, students, they'll be escorted by the RAs pretty much everywhere that they're going. And that's just to give them a good grounding and footing around campus to understand how to get from one spot to another. They'll see both dining halls, for example. They'll understand where they are in relation to where they're living and then also where their classes are. But on that Tuesday, students are really on their own to start navigating around during the day until they come together for those combined fundatory activities in the evenings and then again on the weekends. So when students have free time in the afternoons, it's really going to be between about 12:30 to 5:30 at most on any given afternoon. Don't forget, 2 of the afternoons per week, students will be in class from 12:30 to 3:05. So that takes a portion of their free time for those 2 days. And then on the other one day, one of the two, they will have 1 hour in our collaboration station, which is required for them to check in with their instructor for office hours. But during that free time, students are not supervised by the RAs unless they're at collaboration station or by their instructors if they're in class. They get a chance to sort of explore what it's like to be in Summer Brown, to be able to walk around the campus on their own, to explore Thayer Street, to go to the Nelson Fitness Center, to participate in some of the Summer Brown activities. So students do get that free time, and then they just have to come back and they check in with their RAs and they go to dinner, and then everybody has to be back and ready to go for those evening activities that start between 6:30 and 7 on a typical weeknight.
Excellent. Thank you. Another question for you. What do the costs of the program cover and what do they not cover? And
So,
I'm so sorry, there's another aspect of that question. So if
sure.
students attend field trips or evening events, do they have to pay for them?
So the great thing about STEM for Rising 9th and 10th graders is that the costs that you're paying to come to the program, inclusive of any scholarships that you might get, that covers everything that you would need. We typically don't have books that are necessary for STEM 910. If there's something that's required for the class, that's going to be provided for you. Housing, meals, all of that is included. You will get a $30 printing credit on your ID card. So students have access to printing already $30 worth. And if they want to print more than that, then they might require some additional money, but typically that isn't necessary. Laundry has been free the past couple of years, so students shouldn't need to pay for laundry. That would be inclusive in the cost as well. And then the great thing is all those evening and weekend activities, all those costs are covered by us. So you are not having to bring or spend any additional money. With that being said, for example, in the past, students have gone to the Museum of Science and folks wanted to bring some money to go to the gift shop. So I think it's okay for parents and families to have a conversation with your students and figure out, they don't need anything, but of course they might want something. Also, if they want to go get, their favorite drink at Starbucks, or they need to go to CVS and purchase, some antacids or something, or whatever they might need. And it's probably only me who would need antacids, probably not our students yet. But the point being, if they need any spending money, you want to consider sending them with a little something. But I also just want to be mindful of not sending students with money in excess, because it's not necessary, and there isn't a purpose for it, because everything is included within the cost of the program, and we do that intentionally.
Excellent. Is STEM 910 a prerequisite to attend summer at Brown?
So you might see, if you have looked at the catalog already, and of course the catalog that's displayed right now is last year's catalog, so start looking tomorrow for the exciting courses that are on offer for summer 2026. You might see courses that look a little bit similar to each other, but they are not the same course. So a STEM 910 course is going to be very specific to the age group. Again, students who are ages 13 through 15 years old specifically. If you're a rising 10th grader and you're going to be 16, I would highly encourage you to consider summer at Brown. So you can look at courses that, again, might have similar titles or similar content, but they're going to be structured differently. They're going to be geared towards a different level of student. So they're not the same class, and they don't cross programs. I'd seen that question come through, and I wanted to just highlight that quickly. So STEM 910 is also not a prerequisite to attend summer at Brown. In fact, students who you have an older sibling, and your older sibling is going to be 17 and they're super interested in research, they should consider our Summer at Brown course-based research experience courses, which students have to be 16 plus and rising juniors or seniors. So they could maybe they've never done anything with Brown before. Doesn't mean that they wouldn't be eligible, as long as they're accepted, to consider one of those courses. So each one of our opportunities is, they're independent, they stand alone. We do find, however, that sometimes students will do one and then they get really excited, for example, and they want to come back and do the Leadership Institute, or the idea of hanging out in tents or yurts in Alaska is the coolest thing they've ever thought about, and they want to consider Bell. So there's lots of opportunities for students to be as involved with Brown Pre-College as they want to be, but none of it is a prerequisite. The only prerequisites really are thinking about your age, your grade, so what are you eligible for, and then what are you super excited and interested in doing.
Excellent. Thank you, Abby. Another one here. Can parents visit their student?
So, dear parents, and I say this with love as a parent, please no. This is actually something that I will talk to you about during our parent and student orientation. We've found historically over the years that students are typically okay and they're doing all right, even if they're experiencing a little bit of homesickness, which is absolutely normal, until they see their family. And then the minute they see their family, all of those big emotions come washing over them. And unfortunately, oftentimes students will end up heading home if they've already been experiencing those feelings and then their parents show up. So it's a very different experience if, your child's birthday happens to fall in the middle of the program and they're feeling really good and they're doing well and they're excited to stay, but they're also really excited to see you and go out to a special dinner for an evening or over that weekend. That's okay. And you can reach out to us. We can give special permission for extenuating circumstances, especially for the weekend if necessary. But in general, being around, checking in on them, we're going to ask you not to do that. We really want you to give them their space, because they need their space to grow and to flourish and to find their footing and to really discover what excites them. And that's what they're there for over that 2 weeks. So.
Absolutely, Abby. Thank you so much. So I think that we have time for one more question, and I see an interesting one here. Uh, can you speak about what prior participants felt that they achieved and benefited from the most as part of this program?
Yes, absolutely. So, what I can do is I can speak anecdotally. We do at the end of the summer, we give students an opportunity. I did tell you that we would evaluate students by giving the CPRs. We also give students an opportunity to evaluate us and evaluate the course and their instructor. So, some of the comments that I have seen historically over the years in that survey is students really just share how excited they are about the content, how they learned so much more about a subject they were already passionate about, how they connected and made friends with people who really cared about that same topic too. I've also seen students sharing how they have established what they are expecting to be lifelong friends. And gosh, I certainly hope that that is the case. So that, that's anecdotal from that survey. We don't survey students a year out or 5 years out, for example, but I can tell you that I have had families reach out a few weeks to, a few years later and actually just send me an email and talk to me about some of the changes that they saw in their students while they were part of the program. And a lot of it is around students blossoming. So just blossoming socially, being comfortable talking to many different people that they didn't know before, finding a passion for a new subject or something that they had learned about, but now they really got a chance to do a deep dive into. And then, even more excitingly, oftentimes when we hire our seasonal staff and we do interviews with our seasonal staff, so I'm thinking RAs or TAs, teaching assistants who help in the class, we have folks who tell us that they participated in these programs and they loved it and they were super excited. For example, I work with some of the med students in summer at Brown courses, and they talk often about how they took the introduction to medicine, so you want to be a doctor class, and how it really encouraged them to go into medicine. So, there's lots of those anecdotal pieces where we've heard people have been connected to our programs, and so it's been something that's really excited and they want to stay connected. The other thing to think about is that students will gain both academic, so they'll gain like hard skills, academic skills in terms of time management, ability to prioritize, thinking about academics they're excited about, and they'll also gain a lot of soft skills. So it's really challenging to have a roommate you don't know. Even if your friend has come to the same program, you cannot put in a roommate request to be with them. But maybe you'll see them in class. And if not, maybe you'll see them in the activity groups. But if you're not assigned in class, you're not assigned as a roommate, and you're not assigned in an activity group, great, because you will find time to spend with people you already know during that free time. And you'll also find the opportunity to meet so many new people who you never would have met before. So there's those skills as well, right? Figuring out how to navigate a dining hall, figuring out how to process and manage your own emotions, doing your laundry, super exciting. So there's lots of ways that students will gain immediately, and of course, all those skills are going to be transferable and beneficial when they go to college in the future. They're participating in this as sort of a low stakes environment. They're testing things out, and then when you get a roommate, when you're, moving to college, it's not such a scary prospect because you've already done it, which is exciting.
Awesome. Thank you again, Abby. Another very comprehensive answer. So that about comes to the amount of time that we have this evening. I did want to make note of some of the other upcoming info sessions that we will have available. Some of our another info session, the STEM Summer at Brown courses and the course-based research experiences that will be hosted February 10th by none other than Abbey. And a couple more courses that are more focused academically. We have parent and guardian info sessions, information about kind of generally what the student life experience is like on campus for those students who are participating in Summer at Brown. So feel free to attend as many or as few of these info sessions as you'd like. You can register and view the full schedule by navigating to that QR code. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. Hopefully, we were able to address many of your questions. If there are any questions that are still remaining that we weren't able to touch upon, please feel free to reach out to myself and the rest of the program advising team, either through email at precollege@brown.edu or over the phone at 401-863-7900. Feel free to follow us on social media too. We often post interesting stuff there. And also, hopefully, I see many of you submit applications beginning tomorrow. And feel free to reach out to our team, not just with questions, but if you need any additional support during the application enrollment process, that's what we're here and available to help with as well. Again, thank you for being with us this evening. I wish you all a wonderful evening or day wherever you are, and hope you all take care. Good night.
Thanks, everybody.